the ambition falls short. Believe it or not, this map is a part of a trilogy of maps, the first being pretty good from what I remember. According to the description, this picks off exactly where 2019 left off. Chapter 1 starts with a scripted section, flashes of Nick taking a couple of selfies at 2 AM when he's gotta work at 4. Walking closer to him echoes the voice line of the survivors.
What's that thinking coming down here?
Look, I know this is supposed to be serious, but I really can't take the Left 4 Dead 2 Survivors seriously anymore, and their voice lines are really making it hard to take the story seriously. From what the map provides, which really isn't much, is that Nick is feeling guilty about something, and that guilt is driving him to thoughts of self-harm. Whatever is driving these thoughts aren't explained to the viewer. My second theory is that this is all foreshadowing the events that happened in the campaign. That makes the most sense, since the voice lines that Coach uses are,
Damn it. Can't take losing any more people.
this could explain all the bodies and destroyed buildings in the background. Bottom line is, I'm looking too deep into it, and I'm going to stop before I make this section longer than it has to be. Coach apparently gets Nick back up, and all this was apparently a near-death experience or something.
Come on, man. Don't shit yourself over this. You gonna be okay? Let me get you up. All right. Shit. Nobody
This
panic.
big old playable cutscene isn't bad, just confusing. Even if you played the first map of the trilogy, you'd still be scratching your head. I'm serious. I want someone just to play this scene and explain to me what's going on. There's a little gap between this and the next cutscene, but I'm going to be honest, it's almost less than a minute, and unless the director isn't clowning on you like he did to me, you'll quietly walk to the next major cutscene in seconds. Walking into this cutscene reveals one humongous, ginormous, universal-sized flaw in this entire campaign. The audio for the voice acting is low, too low.
Come on, I'm in a hurry.
Let's go.
You guys
I'm
know.
with you.
Talk about a fatal mistake. The only thing I can think of that could be worse is if we bring back the jump scares from Days Repeat, and this problem persists through the entire campaign. It's even worse that this is a story-based campaign, so entire cutscenes can be missed by the survivors randomly yapping.
Way out of the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Listen, we're prepping a team to force our way into a
I should've
military
learned to
bunker
drive
just
a
north.
tank or some
There's plenty
shit.
of support our way into a military bunker just north. There's plenty of supplies. Just looking for a way out of the city. Bring everybody there.
You're telling me I'm supposed to take this seriously when Coach is yapping on about something in the middle of a cutscene? Finishing this cutscene activates another flashback or vision. I don't know what this is. This is legitimately cool. I just wish I genuinely knew what was going on. While this is all playing out, I was b-hopping my ADHD away until I stopped dead in my tracks. A straight up invisible wall blocks you right here. A seriously shameless invisible wall. There wasn't even an attempt to hide this. But the zombies can run right through it. That's not fair. Right after this, you reach another Half-Life 2 cutscene. I feel like an old man watching this. I seriously have to be like a cartoon character and put my hand on my ear, getting closer to the freaking source of the sound so I could hopefully hear it better. There's so much attention to detail. And more importantly, walking towards every survivor here has dialogue and world building. But as mentioned before, it's so low that you could barely hear over it.
Well, shit, I'm Ellis. I got Rochelle here with me, Coach, and Nick.
I got nothing.
Middle of 21st.
Okay, this is the most nervous I've been since this shit started.
Like we have much of a choice anymore. Anything resembling a
Also, if you're an 8 survivors guy, the map dies here. Gotta play by the map's rules, or you don't get to play at all. Listen to that voice. Who does that remind you
Alright
of?
everybody, this is it. Use radio channels to coordinate the assault. Stick to the plan.
Combine starts taking down our men.
A couple of moments where the lighting is dying, but other than that, this map looks pretty darn good visually, which is no surprise, since the first 2019 map had one of the most unique looks on the workshop. Reminds me a lot of Mirror's Edge. Wonder how many people remember that game. Scripted events are something out of this world. At some points it feels like a Call of Duty campaign, and I mean that in a good way. There are ally NPCs all over the place that seem to actually function pretty well. It's really cool, and something I honestly almost never see in Left 4 Dead 2 maps, or see it in an actual immersive good way. The invisible walls here are too crazy. They're everywhere, and it's shameless. Whole entire streets that look accessible are blocked off by air. Same with alleyways. Invisible walls are very common in custom maps, so I pretty much always overlook them now. But this map really takes using invisible walls to another level, and it's inconsistent with it too. Some points, the map creator will go the extra mile to block off sections of the map with props, and the other moments where he just decides not to. A fence, a barricade, or cars. I don't care. Use anything. Anything but spamming invisible walls. The rest of the campaign is alright. Standard stuff. This is the only chapter that somewhat plays like a normal campaign, which for me is a rare sight to see. Mix that with a unique scripted event, and we got ourselves a pretty decent chapter. Chapter 3 is a giant scavenge section. You walk into a mall to retrieve gas and the parts for your truck. It's here where I meet my first soft lock since By Mountain. What is this? I've never seen a bug like this. But they're gathering all the gas cans and parts for your truck will do nothing. The counter will just say 5 out of 5 gas cans and the level will go on forever. On top of that, all the common infected are gone. It's completely empty. In other words, this chapter is completely broken. Nothing works. Except that there is a reason to why this is happening, and there's a video that explains it too. Realism actually bugs out some maps. They just, for some reason, cease to function whenever you play on realism. There's no valid reason or conclusion to why this happens on my end. That's right, this map is unfunctional in realism. In fact, this map is unfunctional with most add-ons. Look at my add-ons list and tell me how is it possible that my game is struggling to run this map. Tell me how in the hundreds of custom campaigns I've played through, this is the one of the rare maps that for some reason has a hissy fit with other add-ons. And my copy of Left 4 Dead 2 is as clean can get. The fact that this map barely works is a sign of no playtesting, just like By Mountain. So if you like playing with more than 4 survivors, you're also screwed. And if you're one of those players who decks out their games in whatever style of anime, then you're also screwed. Anyways, switching this to campaign mode fixes all those issues, and disabling most of your add-ons also too. This whole chapter is a disaster. I took the last chapter for granted, because this chapter is just a straight up 360-degree invisible cube, and the issues with the NPC dialogue being very hard to hear is only multiplied by the custom music and gunfire on top of the voice lines.
Okay, that one hurt. Shit.
Chapter 4 introduces the choice mechanics. Unlike Days Repeat, this can actually affect the ending you get, just like in Man and Addon.
Don't brave the mist!
It's amazing how the map creator was able to pull this off. Again, we've seen this before, but no map has been able to legitimately pull it off from a technical standpoint. Now, the choice here flew over my head completely. The chapter begins with a cutscene of a helicopter that apparently has been chasing us the entire campaign. For some reason, the armored van that we were in decided to drop us off. Now, the dialogue here says that we have to get to the bunker.
All squads, forward assault to the bunker.
So, guess what I did the first time? I hauled ass to the bunker. I mean, what else am I supposed to do? That's what everyone else is doing, except I didn't die like everybody else. This unlocks the bad ending. Now again, how the hell are you supposed to know this is a choice? And the choices are introduced pretty late into the campaign, so you're less likely to expect it here.
Hey, give me a hand.
They're all gone.
What you're supposed to do is get on the truck and on the mounted turret and fire at the helicopter, destroying the helicopter and severing everyone else that helps you at the beginning. Now the good choice just makes zero sense to me in a game design way and in a practical way. The entire chapter is just a one-way street with cover. What the player would think, or at least what I think, is run cover to cover avoiding the explosions until you reach the bunker. Since visually it shows that staying around will get you killed. Not only that, the explosives destroy the vehicles that surround you, the same vehicles in which the mounted turret is on. And for the amount of yapping these NPCs do, it would have been nice if at least one of them screamed out for you to help them. Or just do what Call of Duty World at War did. They're constantly telling you to get on that MG. All this dialogue that the map creator has put in, and none of it is used here to tell us to gun down the helicopter. It makes zero sense to me. It's a confusing chapter that really ruined the whole choice thing for me. It's a damn shame too, because that choice is what makes this map so unique. Only when I replayed this campaign for the good ending did I get soft locked again. The screen here goes black, and because I didn't close a safe house, the chapter didn't end. Great. Chapter 5 is a big old cutscene. In the bad ending, it's again, I'm assuming, either symbolism for abandoning the people you left behind during the helicopter fight, or foreshadowing to what Nick is going to do later on into the campaign. Either way, this cutscene is really hard to understand, and I mean it. This could mean anything, and the chapter name is Hallucination, so it could really mean that Nick is injured and is feeling like he's no longer any help to his teammates. If you destroy the helicopter, then we don't even get to see this cutscene. I've never had a map that has given me so many mixed feelings. On one hand, I feel like all this type of storytelling in Left 4 Dead 2 is innovative, definitely one of a kind from what I've seen, but we can't just ignore the amount of bugs we've experienced just to get here in the first place. In the bad ending, not destroying the helicopter injures Nick.
Looks like you took a bad hit.
Alright. Hey, we alright, y'all? Huh? We made it.
You're scaring the shit out of me. You go down one more time and that's it for you.
I gotta take better care of myself.
Though, if you do destroy the helicopter, Nick suffers no injury. The chapter essentially plays out the same, other than the beginning sections looking different. This is like chapter 2. It plays like a normal campaign. It's not bad. Then I ran into this section. What does this remind you of? This chapter, for some unknown reason, reuses a section, Coldstream. It's just so random, and just like the past few campaigns I've played, it just ends so suddenly after that cutscene. It seems to me that these map creators have put so much effort into these new gimmicks that they've forgotten what's important in a campaign, gameplay, and a good half of this campaign is watching cutscenes after dealing with soft locks and bugginess. I feel like the map creator was so stressed with delivering and programming these cutscenes that he neglected the part where you're killing zombies. Anyways, this chapter is alright. It's probably the only chapter that didn't have invisible walls or some sort of bug that required me to restart. Chapter 7 is the big major payoff. Depending on the choices you made, if you didn't destroy the helicopter and you decide to leave, Nick will survive, even though not moments ago he was limping around like if he was at red HP and black and white. This ending either is a plot hole or confirms that Nick was pretending he was injured the whole time, and the horde that apparently kills the survivors is a joke. It should have been a horde of tanks. That would have been more realistic, because I'm telling you, one survivor can deal with that horde with a melee. This ending is a really bad ending, and I mean it from a story perspective. The second bad ending has Nick pressing the button allowing the rest of the survivors to escape while launching a nuke at the same time. Nick also dies, which brings up the question of why Nick doesn't die in the other bad ending. An answer we'll probably never find. The good ending is the same as the second bad ending, except Nick survives. Not only that, it unlocks a new section of the chapter, a survival section. When I played it, it glitched out.
We only have pistols. I hope the map gives us something. You know, I would love to give myself a rifle, but you know.
Grabbing a rifle.
Ah! Dude.
He did that off. Did you do that off?
Why did I die?
This brings up something I've been avoiding talking about. This map disables the admin system, one of the must-have add-ons in Left 4 Dead 2. Without this add-on, bots being stuck in random places, deaths, and glitches are something unfixable now. I don't know why this map is so hell-bent on being played in such a specific way, but damn, does the players suffer for it. Now this entire campaign, to be honest, the prior campaigns I've played have all had the same issue. Extremely short chapters. For some reason, they decide they wanted to take themselves serious and begin challenging the player at the very end. This part spawns a tank right on top of me. Right after that, there's a horde mixed in with two tanks. Two tanks in the middle of a horde is damn near as hard as it gets. If it wasn't for By Mountain, I would say this section is hard, but I've experienced far worse than that campaign. The knowledge it gave me, we used the mounted turrets and changed the aggro of the tanks, kind of daisy chaining their aggro while making use of the bile jars. 2019 Part 2, a completely different map from the original 2019. Other than the visuals, both play absolutely different. Where 2019 pulls in the player with its interesting visuals and keeps the players engaged with its gameplay, 2019 Part 2 took that interest and tried something never done before, a full-on cinematic experience in Left 4 Dead 2. But I ain't gonna lie, if everything else suffers for that new gimmick, I'm not talking about gameplay, I'm talking about functionality, and I'm not sure if it was worth it in the end. This map is a 4 out of 10. Part where it shines, like the choices, really impressed me, but everything else suffered for it.